Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. I am so excited today. And do you know why? Do you know why? Because listen, we're getting people in here right about now. I started the room up just a little bit later than I usually do, so people are coming in now. Oh, here they come. Here they come right now. Folks, we're going to be talking about 7% mortgages and how you can make them work for you. What? You mean the 7% mortgages don't work against us? Oh, listen, somebody asked a question already. Is this method for interest only loans? No, it can definitely work for interest only loans. Okay, we just did a show on that, Ms. Conyers. I think it was the show right before this one. We did one on interest only loans. How this program, listen, you can kill an interest only loan. I love interest only loans. In fact, that's the name of the show. Why I love interest only loans. So, Ms. Kanye, will you take a look at find that? You can find it on our Facebook page because you're watching us on Facebook, or you can find it on our YouTube channel because it's there as well. So, listen, I love interest only loans. Do you have an interest only loan? Listen, if you're on Clubhouse, if you have Clubhouse, come to the Clubhouse, come to our Clubhouse room, and let's talk about it. Anybody wants to talk about anything they want to talk about, we can. But today we're also going to be talking about 7% loans. It says, okay, Ms. Conyers, you said you have a 3%. So interested in learning about the method of paying off my mortgage sooner. Oh my goodness. We're going to talk about that today. But folks, I want to go on record and be very clear about one thing. The P.I.L.L method does not help you to pay your mortgage off faster as a primary issue. What? We don't. We help you to pay your debt off cheaper. Right now, that is the cause of long-term debt, is the amount of extra interest you pay that you don't have to pay. That's what's been going on for the last 88 years. It started in 1934. Amortization started in 1934 to help the bank, so that FDR with his New Deal can get the banks lending again because of the stock market crash in 1929 that brought on the Great Depression. So to get the banks back in the game, they said, listen, why not use this amortization and charge people for 30 years and make all this interest? And they're thinking it's 3%, Ms. Conyers, when in actuality, the loan is 51%. So, Ms. Conyers, if you don't mind, I can put that on the screen right now just to get things warmed up here. If you don't mind, tell us, what was the original amount that you borrowed on your mortgage at 3%, so I can show everyone. All right, because this is going to be great. We're going to get the people involved here who are online this morning, giving me information through the power of this technology. Oh, Miss Conyers, you are too good. You are too good. She just sent it right on over. $240,370. So I'm putting this on this. Oh, Kurt, my engineer says, Don, we'd love to see that too. So you need to put it on, share the screen. So let me go ahead and share this screen. We're on screen number 2. There we go. So we're going to put on 240,000. Okay, $370. And I'm assuming it's a 30-year loan, Ms. Conyers. So we're going to keep it at 30 years. We're going to put it at 3%. Okay, now what I'm going to show you here is the principal and interest payment. We're not talking about your taxes and insurance right now. Just the principal and interest payment, which is $1,013.41. That's the payment. But watch this. When we take a look at the summary, All right. Oh, by the way, let me go ahead and while we're looking at the summary, I'm gonna pin my link to the top here on Clubhouse. All right. So people can find us online. If you want to see these examples, folks, if you want to see the numbers, okay, seeing the numbers is believing. If you want to see the numbers, then you'll be able to click on the link there, ice10k.com, and you will see another tab there that says watch us live. You click on that and you can watch us live on another device. But if you want to go straight to YouTube, you can go to ice10kvideos.com, ice10kvideos.com, and go straight to YouTube. Oh, we're going to get exciting today. All right. And Ms. Conyers, here's what we got. Mr. Reed, I see your comment. You're going to be next. We're going to take care of you next. Okay, folks, if you're on Clubhouse, start sharing the room for me because I've got so many things going on. I'm going to enlist your help. I need your help to get this out in the hallway so people can understand how these 7% loans can actually work better for you. Okay, watch this. So Miss Conyers, are you seeing this? On $240,370, look how much interest the bank wants. $124,457.60. Miss Conyers, does this look like $124,000? Does that look like 3% of 240,000? I'm just asking. Does 124,457.60 look like 3% of the $240,000 that you borrowed? This is what the banks have been doing to us for 88 years. 88 years. She says, not at all. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Because see, listen, thanks to President Obama. All right. Thanks to President Obama, the banks have to become more forthcoming with their information. Before you close on a loan now, on a mortgage, you have to receive your paperwork 3 days before closing as of October 15. Let's see. I forget which year it was now. Doggone it. Okay. October 2015, I believe. October 2015 is when this whole thing started. So now when you see your 3% interest rate, you see this exact term on your paperwork. Total interest paid as a percentage of principal. Your 3% really means 51.778%. On the disclosure. Oh, Miss Conyers, are you a real estate agent or a loan officer? Listen, I'm saying, listen, you're using some terminology here that everyday people use. So listen, thank you so much for bringing that question. But that's what she says. No, not at all. All right, folks. All right, I got 2 shares in here. I got 2 shares on Clubhouse. I'm going to share so we can have at least 3, but I need you all to share it. Here's why. Okay. I'm making you all do a little bit of work because of the algorithm change. People need to see it in the hallway so that they can see this title that make 7% interest rates work for you. The reason why we need to have that there is because the Fed raising the rates of the base rate by another 75 basis points pushed the mortgage rates to 7%, and people are freaking out because they got so used to these historically low interest rates. They thought that was a good thing. But I'm trying to tell you now, all right, the 7% rate is a great rate. And I'm going to tell you why in just a few minutes. But what you need to know, folks, is it is easier All right. You can clip this, you can write it down, you can put it in your notes. It is easier to pay off a loan faster and cheaper at the higher interest rates than it is the lower ones. I'm hearing the reason why we're doing this today, the reason why we're talking about this today is because I was talking about this in another room on Clubhouse the other day. And there was a mortgage professional in there, been in the business for over 20 years. And here is the general consensus. Yes, the interest rates are 7%. Yeah, they're not all that bad compared to what they used to be. Okay. But here's what they're saying. You know, you marry you marry your house, but you date the rate. You date the rate, meaning you don't have to keep the rate. You get into the house at this 7%, and what they're telling you is when the interest rates get better, refinance into a lower rate. Okay? Let me tell you something. You never want to do that. All right? You never want to. Miss Dawn, how are you doing this morning?
Amazing. And yourself?
Listen, I'm above. Can I be better than amazing? Is that okay?
You awesome. Yep, you sure can.
Okay, listen, there's no has nothing against you, but I'm better than amazing because we know why we exist. The why we exist is people who've been contacting us, Dawn, over the years have said basically the same thing. We were looking for or praying for or hoping for a better way to handle our debt because what we were doing wasn't working. They noticed that by making their payments on their mortgage, that their principal was barely moving, and they wondered why. I've been paying for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, but I owe almost as much now as I did before. And I'm making these huge payments every single month. And they're trying to figure out why. We are here to tell you why, to help you to understand how loans actually work. We're challenging the status quo. That's why we're here. Do you know why Dawn is so popular? Because she challenges the status quo. And I've been telling her, and acts like she can't understand why people are drawn to her. Dawn, you showed up in a room yesterday for the first time. Doggone it. I saw it. And I hope you saw it and you noticed it. Showed up in a room for the first time, start talking about what she talks about, who she is and why she does it. Everybody in the room wanted her course. They wanted her on their next podcast. They wanted her. Dawn, what's going on? What's up with your message? Will you please tell these people who you are and what you do and why people are drawn to you? Come on.
Oh, I thank you so much. That was such a great motivation. Yeah. So, hey, everybody. My name is Dawn Robinson, the Money PhD. I am a financial educator and single mom, turned millionaire by age 44. And I always say that's my highlight reel. But what it started with was a whole bunch of money mistakes, which I ended up in $140,000 of consumer debt with my bad spending habits. It started, my wake up call was I got a bad boss. And I wanted to tell her she was number one with a different finger, but I could not afford to quit. And so now I'm on a mission to help women over 40 who are secretly struggling to save, pay off debt, and invest, find a way to achieve financial freedom. And I always say that you're not financially free until work becomes optional. So that's who I am and what I do and who I help. I think the thing for us is that we don't teach the sexy, right? We teach results, but we don't teach the sexy.
Come on. Dawn, listen, you have a website. Will you please tell people how they can find your website? Could you do that?
Yeah, if you go to themoneyphd.com, you'll see my website there, and that's how you can reach out to me.
All right, and you can even put it. You can also put it in the chat, Miss Dawn, if you choose.
Will.
All right, thank you so much. Listen, folks, I want you to know how her story is compelling. All right, when she tells it, about her real life struggle, it's genuine. That's her why she does it. And people are drawn to why. And this is why we do this, because there are people out there that want to know why it takes forever to pay off a student loan. They want to know why 9 out of 10 people will never pay off a mortgage that they know. Then, people, do you know, I've got a guy who just called me and I said, "Why are you calling me, sir?" He says, "Because I'm about 7 years away from retirement. And I still have this mortgage." I said to him, "Sir, was that your plan to have a mortgage this entire time and not have it paid off by the time you're ready to retire?" He says, "You know what? I got this mortgage. I actually got this mortgage like 10 years ago. And in that 10 years, he's refinanced that loan 3 times. 3 times. Do you know each time he refinanced it to get a lower interest rate, you know what they did? They sent him back to a new 30-year loan. He just refinanced again to get a lower interest rate." Folks, this is the game that we're playing. Number one, you need to keep this in mind. If you believe you're saving money or putting yourself in a better financial situation by refinancing, if you're saving money by refinancing, who has to be losing money? One more time. If you're saving money by refinancing, who has to be losing money? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Go ahead and put it in the comments. Who has to be losing money if you are saving money? Who has to be losing money if you're refinancing? Come on, put it in the chat. Put it in the comments if you're online. I want to see it. All right? Come on, somebody be brave enough. Somebody be brave enough to write the bank in there. The bank would have to be losing money. And folks, if the bank is losing money, why are they refinancing you once, twice, 3 times? Why do they keep refinancing you? In fact, if your bank, if you have a higher interest rate and the bank has you locked into that interest rate, why would your bank that has you at the higher interest rate, Dawn, why would your bank call you, fill up your mailbox with offers to refinance you to a lower rate so you can save money? Why would your bank do that? Oh my goodness. So just the other day, folks, we're talking about these higher interest rates, and here is what's commonly believed. And I don't fault anyone for saying this, because it has entered into the lexicon. It has entered into our speech. It has entered into our vernacular. It has entered into our heads what I'm getting ready to say, and it is commonly believed. The interest rates are at 7. Go ahead and purchase your home now if you can afford the payment. Get into your house, because rents are going to continue to rise. When you have your own house, the payment is stabilized. It can't be raised. Now, when the interest rates go down, refinance out of that loan and refinance into a lower interest rate. And I said, don't you believe it? Don't believe it. Don't ever refinance out of your interest rate just to get a lower one, because you make it harder on yourself to accelerate the loan, to pay off the loan cheaper and faster. And the gentleman said, he went on, he says, you can't make a blanket statement like that, because when people refinance, they generally refinance and get a new 30-year loan. And this is why it is financially untenable to do this, because they keep resetting to 30 years. And that is true. They do that. But guess what? We start talking about the numbers here. When financial experts give advice and they don't provide you data. They don't provide you the numbers. They don't give you empirical data that what they're saying is true. It just sounds true. We accept it. But they didn't give you any numbers to prove what they said is true. It is common belief that if you can save 2 points on your mortgage, go ahead and refinance. That's common belief. But no one has ever given you the numbers that said this is why you should do it. Here are the numbers to prove you're putting yourself in a better financial position. So what we did, I showed them, if you're 1 year into this loan, and I'm going to show you in just a few minutes, if you're 1 year into the loan, that means you only have 348 payments left. What I did was we refinanced the loan, put it back in here at the same 348 payments, even with no closing costs. We did it, no closing costs, at the same 348 payments, refinanced it to 5%, and it put that loan into a more difficult situation that's going to cost the client or the customer even more money and make it harder to pay the loan off faster. See, folks, I'm going to go on record and say, I love this 7% interest rate. And right now, people are buying down the rate just to get a lower rate, even though they can afford the payment at the higher rate. Now, if you cannot afford the payment at the higher rate, that's a different story. You may need to buy down the rate to get a payment that you can afford. Dawn, would you agree with that?
Whether they should buy it down?
Because if they want to get into this particular house, okay?
Yes.
And they need to put the payment in so it fits in their budget.
Yes.
Okay. But if you can afford the payment, don't buy it down just to get a lower rate. It's a waste of money.
Yeah. You can reach out to you and you'll show them how to make it work.
Yes. And we're going to show you how having the 7% rate makes it work. So Miss Conyers, before you leave, I'm going to go back to you now. We're going to put your stuff on the screen here. We have a 3% interest rate, right? And let's go ahead and make that bigger. And we see now it's 51%. The bank wants 51% of what you borrowed in the form of interest. That's what they want. Okay. Watch this, Miss Conyers. Okay. Look how much money is going to principal on this loan. Look how much is going to interest. Nearly $600 every month for the first year. Look at that. And we're paying the mortgage down with these $400 payments. Do you know mortgage, the whole term mortgage has to do with the money that you borrow. So your mortgage payments is the money that you pay to the bank to pay the mortgage down. Okay. This money over here, the interest, is not mortgage payment because it doesn't affect how much you owe on the mortgage. It's rent on your money. In fact, if you had an interest only loan, then your payment would be $600.93. Now, you can pay that for 10 years, $600.93. And after 10 years, guess what? You would still owe $240,370 because all you did was pay interest only. So technically, it can't be a mortgage payment. A mortgage payment has to do with paying back the money you owe. And folks, this interest payment has nothing to do with paying back the money you owe. It's rent on the money you owe. This principal payment is paying back the money you owe. So realistically, technically, your principal payment is the mortgage payment. Folks, does that make sense? If that makes sense, put a yes in the chat. John, what are you doing in the audience, man? My brother John, he moved from Huntsville. And listen, man, where are you now? You got to tell the folks where you are, man. You got to tell the folks where you are. All right. All right. I'm gonna see if he'll come up to this. I don't know what he's doing. He may be able to speak. I don't know. So I'm going to invite him into the stage anyhow. But let's see if he can come up. But, some people are busy. Some people are at work. John, Pastor John, what's going on, man? Hit that in the lower right-hand corner, you will see the microphone. There you go.
I see it. Indeed, I'm doing well. Every time I hear the message, I'm like, man, I'm blown away.
Pastor John, where are you now?
I'm in the Myrtle Beach area. We're weathering the storm here. I to deal with Ian,
Mm-hmm.
but I decided to get on here. But just listen, man. It's awesome.
Will you do us the privilege of introducing yourself? And you can even tell the folks where your church is and all of that, man. Please go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
All right. Yes, indeed. Well, I'm Pastor John Barnett. I'm actually pastoring out in the Myrtle Beach area. Church is actually one church in Conway, South Carolina, and also in Loris, South Carolina. And we just tell of the goodness of God that loves us enough to pay the price for us. Also, I'm what they call a serial entrepreneur as well. And been in many things, real estate, insurance, as well as a few other areas. So yeah, and right now I'm serving as pastor of two wonderful congregations.
Pastor, it is so good to see you today. I want you to know I'll be preparing my Sabbath school lesson for tomorrow, and your parents are going to, hopefully they'll be in my Sabbath school class.
Have mercy. They will be.
And I'm going to tell, I can't wait to tell them I talked to you, man. Congratulations. How's the family doing?
Everybody's doing well. I'm grateful. Kids have adjusted. Of course, we miss everybody, but we're here and kind of adjusting, planning to come back down. Actually, interestingly enough, my parents were down here on last week.
Yes.
So they came down to visit and came on back up to Huntsville. But yeah, everybody's doing well. God's grace.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. And listen, man, you were patient. We prayed with you. You were patient. Absolutely. And God was faithful and called you to those two lovely congregations there. And I know they're enjoying your leadership and your ministry. Thank you for tapping in with us this morning.
Indeed. Awesome to be here.
All right, man. Listen, folks, we're going to get back to it. So Miss Conyers gave us information on her loan. And look at this, folks. Look at this. 400. So Miss Conyers, we're going to teach you a little bit about how this works. And it's going to get in, and then we'll lead into our 7% mortgages and why we can make them work for us. So when you make a payment, when you make this first payment, $412.48 went to principal, $600 went to interest. And let's say you make your payment in January, your February principal payment would be $413.52. Now, I am not prescribing, I'm not telling you how the P.I.L.L method works. Right now, we're just telling you how the bank works, how they charge interest, and what we can do to disrupt their ability to charge us interest based on this amortization schedule. Okay. But so we're just helping you to understand how loans actually work. This is why we exist, to challenge the status quo, to stop telling people how they can save money when these ways actually cost them money. Watch this. So let's say in February, you take a look at your February principal payment, which would be $413.52. Here's my question. Do you have to wait to February to give the bank $413.52 if you already have it? So if you have that money, did you realize you can give the bank that 413 early? You can do it in the same month you made your regular mortgage payment. And if you do, all of this money goes to principal. You're actually paid down to line 2 in January. When you're paid down to line 2 in January, that means your next mortgage payment for February is actually on line 3 of your schedule. You got rid of line 2, okay? Not for the $1,013 that the bank was looking for. You got rid of line 2 for only $413.52. That's it. Line 2 is gone, and you're on line 3 of your mortgage, of your amortization schedule. You got rid of one payment. So you just turned 360 monthly payments into 359 monthly payments with just $413.52. Guess what else you did? You see this interest cost on line 2, $599.89. You never have to pay that now. You just saved yourself nearly $600 in interest by doing that. That's what's powerful. That's what's going on here. You can save at the same rate the bank is charging you once you understand how mortgages work. It says, do I specify that they apply that to the principal only? So, Ms. Conyers, here's the thing. If you are escrowing, all right, so let's say your taxes and insurance are part of your payment, you do have to specify it. But if you're just paying principal and interest, you don't have to specify it because there's only one place they can put that money. It has to go to principal. That's the only place it can go. If you're escrowing, they could put it in your escrow account. In fact, that's the default. If you send them a check, an extra amount, and you don't specify according to their rules, and the rules are specific to the banking institution you're dealing with, whether it's a mortgage company or a bank, the rules are specific to them. And you have to let them know in the way that they want to be notified that you are making a principal payment, so that they won't take that money and put it in your escrow account. If you don't have an escrow account, if you're paying the taxes and insurance on your own, and you can do that, then they have to apply it to principal. That's the only place it can go, to answer your question. But watch this, Ms. Conyers, watch this. You see, she says, listen, let's highlight that. She says, wow. Okay, watch this, Ms. Conyers. What if you make your January payment, and let's say you have a little bit of money sitting in your bank, and you know the interest that they're paying on these accounts is barely nothing. It's like 1/10 of 1%. The last time you looked at your statement and you have money in your savings account and they showed you that you had like 1 penny or 2 pennies in interest, you have several $1,000s in there and they gave you like 2 or 3 pennies worth of interest. Oh my gosh. 1/10 of 1%. Not even a whole percent. 1/10 of 1% is what they're paying. Watch this. So you make a mortgage payment, and let's say you have about $1,200. That would be payment. So your principal payment on number 2, on line 2, line 3, and line 4. Okay. Let's see. That's like $1,245. Okay. Let's just round off. $1,245. You can take $1,245 out of your bank account, apply it to this loan, and knock off these 3 payments that you never have to make, and save nearly nearly $1,800 in interest that you never have to pay the bank. And your next mortgage payment for February would be on line 5. What do you think of that, Ms. Conyers? Oh my goodness. Folks, if you got questions, all right, Miss Dawn, help us to, listen, I see your comment there. Please share the room. All right. Listen, thank you, Miss Dawn, for getting that out there. And folks, if you have a comment, if you have a question, come up to the stage, raise your hand. We want to hear from you, or put it in the chat or whatever. Okay. So Miss Conyers, what do you think about that? Does that help you to understand how you can pay this loan off faster and cheaper? Because if you take that money that you would have paid according to the bank's system, you would have paid this loan down. I need you to watch this cumulative principal and cumulative interest. Okay. Cumulative principal and cumulative interest. All right. In 4 months, doing it their way, you would have given them $1,656.14 in principal. But look, it would have cost you $2,397.50 doing it their way. Doing what I just suggested is you give them this much money, but it doesn't cost you $2,397.50 to do it. It only costs you $600 to do it. Oh! Whoo, my goodness. Miss Nikki Conyers said, it sure helps me. All right, folks, if you are online right now, we got 13 people online. We have how many people here on Clubhouse? We got 31 people in Clubhouse. If you are here, share the room, get the information out. If you're watching us online and one of your favorite social media platforms, please share it to your followers. Share it. Okay. So here's the thing. So Sunshine Ingram has a question here. All right. Let me see what's going on here. All right. All right. So, okay, great. All right. So let's go back. Sunshine Ingram says, so the bank has to erase that interest. This sounds too good to be true. You know, this Miss Ingram, let me ask you a question here. Okay. Let's put it to you like this, because it does sound too good to be true. Do you know why? Because it's not being taught. It's not being taught anywhere. It's being taught here. So Miss Ingram, let's do this. Let's just say you have this new mortgage and you made the first payment. Okay. And you get a knock on the door and it's from a lawyer. And the lawyer says, Miss Ingram, we have a check for you because you had your long lost great uncle twice removed left you an inheritance. And the inheritance was so large, you could easily pay this mortgage off. So right now on this mortgage, you owe $239,957.52. Could you write a check out of your inheritance for $239,957.52 and give it to the bank and pay off the mortgage right now if you could afford it? Could you do that? And if you did do that, what would happen to all the interest payments on your amortization schedule? Would you not get rid of all of them? Would all of them be canceled because you went ahead and paid off the mortgage? Wow. Think about it, folks. If you can pay off this loan and get rid of all these interest payments, then if you can get rid of all of them, why can't you get rid of just some of them by prepaying some of the money? I hope that makes sense to you, Miss Ingram, because what you're saying here is the belief of a lot of people. And the reason why we believe, the reason why it doesn't ring true in our heads, it's a term called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance means this: you believe something for so long, and then you have credible evidence that what you believed is not necessarily true. And now you got new evidence that this thing is true, and it contradicts what you've always believed. So now there's a conflict going on. Okay. And so What do we do to resolve the conflict? There's only two ways to resolve that conflict. You can go back to believing what you used to believe, or you can choose to believe the new information. That's the only thing that's going to resolve that conflict of so that we just talked about. So, folks, if you're wondering whether it's too good to be true, do more research right now. Right now, folks, right now. Miss Sunshine Ingram says, I didn't think about it that way, with an exclamation point. That's what we're talking about. This is why we exist, folks, to challenge the status quo so people can think differently about their loans and know that you can actually understand what's going on. And the reason why we pay so much interest is because somehow this has been left out of our education. Understanding money has been left out of our education. Miss Dawn, what is going on here?
Hey, so I just wanted to jump in. I think that I love when you use the word cognitive dissonance. It's so funny that we use some of the same words. And I think what it is that we've accepted that whatever that belief system is true. And I just want to say, challenge that the way that you're thinking about it, say, do I know that to be true?
Yes.
Right? Is it possible that there could be somewhere different? And what I love about your examples is that you're able to show it. So when the cognitive dissonance shows up, that they believe something else, right? They can see, wait a minute, he showed me this. This is principal. This is interest. This is what I know to be true, because this is the way that the interest and principal are paid back or calculated in the amortization schedule. So what is different? Most of us have never seen the amortization schedule. I know for me, that was the game changer. Understanding the amortization schedule. And I think what actually enforces some of that cognitive dissonance is because we've never seen people that we know do it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Right? Usually we know people that have paid off homes. They're typically later on in life, if ever. And so it seems that it's not possible. And that's kind of just what I wanted to share.
Oh my goodness. Miss Dawn, somebody online is asking for your website. All right. And it is themoneyphd.com, right? Themoneyphd.com. Miss Conyers wants to know your website. All right. Somebody, let's go ahead and put that in the chat. All right. Let's go ahead and put that in the chat. The Money PhD. I'm spelling it wrong. MoneyPhD.com. There we go. Boom. All right. Listen, we have a new person on the stage, Miss Barbara Majeski. How are you doing today?
Hi, my friend. I saw you pinged me in, and I'm curious to learn from you. So thank you for the opportunity.
All right. Will you please introduce yourself and tell the folks who you are and how great you are?
Hi, I'm Barbara. I'm great. I am also a television, I'm a television personality. I do some segments on the Today Show, Good Day New York, Fox and Friends, Inside Edition. But I'm also a serial entrepreneur and real estate investor. So I'm always curious to be in these rooms and learn more and see and hear people's point of view. So I have a question. Do you mind if I ask something?
Go right ahead, please.
So you pay off your mortgage in 7 years. Now, do you recommend people leveraging the equity in their home to make investments in income producing assets such as real estate?
Always. Always.
Okay.
In fact, if you're a real estate investor, you probably will never pay off your home until you're ready to you're ready to get out of real estate investing altogether.
Okay, got it. I got it. I was coming in midstream, and now I'm grateful to hear that. I think that's a really smart component of this conversation.
Okay.
Too,
so what we're going to be showing you, because you brought that up, Miss Barbara, what I'm going to show you is what we're doing when we use bank money to leverage that money to borrow a home. What we're actually buying is equity. I'm going to show you how you can get your equity cheaper. Would you like to know that?
Always. Are you kidding me? Always. I couldn't hit that mute button fast enough. I hit it so fast, I remuted myself.
Listen, if you want what we're doing, we're actually live streaming right now to YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And if you want to see this, you can click my link at the top, and there's a button there that says watch us live, or you can just go to your favorite one of those 4 platforms and search P.I.L.L Method, and you can watch us live on a different device if you so choose. But right now, I'm getting ready to explain this in a way that even if you can't see it, you should be able to see it in your mind's eye. Right now, Miss Barbara, we have on the screen a mortgage of $240,000, and in 1 year, this is at a 3% interest rate. In 1 year, we're going to pay this loan down by $5,018.46. That is the principal we just paid off in 1 year. In fact, we can look at that as our equity, okay? Because we have just created more space between what we owe and what the property is worth. So we have some potential equity of an additional $5,000 in 1 year. But the amount of interest that we just paid is $7,142.46. Now she's on the phone right now, so she can see this when in the replay. But this equity of $5,000 just cost us $7,000 in interest to get. Do you see that, folks? So here's the thing. If we prepay the $5,000, there's no rule that says we have to pay this $5,000 in 12 monthly installments. There's no rule that says that we have to do that. What if we had a little bit of money on the sideline and we prepaid the $5,000? We would be paid down to line 12 on the amortization schedule in just 1 month. And guess what? It wouldn't cost us $7,000 to get there. It would only cost us $600.93 in interest to do the same thing the bank is asking us to do over a 12-month period. If we had the money, we could give it to them in 1 month and save $6,553.02 in interest we never have to pay. Folks, listen, we're going to get started. We're going to reset the room right quick. And then once we reset this room, we're going to get into how to make 7% interest rates work for you. You're in the P.I.L.L Method Club right now, and we're teaching people how to pay off their mortgages and all of their other debt in about 7 years because of the interest you will not pay. All right. If you're a real estate investor, what we want to show you is how you can get your equity faster and cheaper by understanding how you can disrupt the bank's timing and make it impossible for them to charge you that interest so that you get your equity a lot cheaper and you get it faster. So when you cash out refi to buy more property, that equity didn't cost you as much interest. So in fact, we can cut the interest cost on that by about 2/3. Oh, this is powerful stuff, folks. This is powerful stuff. All right. So now once we understand that, that's what we're doing. OK, we're going to get into why it makes sense to have these 7% interest rates. But before we get started, I need you to understand that Miss Barbara Majeski, who's a television personality, is just like you, wanting to level up, wanting to create more streams of income. In fact, we have another personality that took advantage of the P.I.L.L Method not too long ago. All right. And he is the #1 motivational speaker on the entire planet right now. His name is Dr. Eric Thomas. Some call him E.T., the hip hop preacher. And right now, I want you to hear it from his own lips what does ET have to say about this program? My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, and our team created the most powerful money management, wealth building, debt elimination system ever created. At our recent seminar in Nashville, Tennessee, the keynote speech was delivered by the #1 motivational speaker in the world, Dr. Eric Thomas. E.T., as he's also known, mentioned he paid off his mortgage in 4 years using the P.I.L Method. I invite you to watch and listen.
Listen to me, y'all. Well, one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
Did you hear that? No mortgage, no stress. If you would like to become debt and mortgage free within an average of 7 to 9 years by cutting your interest costs by up to 75%, go to pillmethod.com and request a savings and earnings report today. All right, folks, we're back. If you want to know more about how you can cut your interest costs by 75%, if you want to know how to gain equity faster and cheaper, if you want to pay off all of your debt in an average of 7 to 9 years, then look at the link above, click on it, and find the button that says Get a Savings and Earnings Report. So if you're watching us, if you're watching us live, then you can go to ice10k.com. ICE, the number 10, the letter K.com, and find the button that says Get a Savings and Earnings Report. Read all the instructions. Follow those instructions, and then you will be led into our financial form. Put all of your information in there, and then someone from my staff will give you a call and we'll set up for you a consultation. And listen, don't leave any of the debt out. Put it all in. The more, the merrier. The more debt you put in, the faster you can actually get out of debt. Listen, this thing is crazy once you understand it. So now you can know the month, day, and year you could be debt free and how much interest you can actually save. Oh my gosh. And the interest savings actually pays for your lifetime program. So in fact, there is no cost to you for this program. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, not only that, folks, but you also see a button to get my book. You want to get my book because it will tell you, my book introduces you into why you want to think differently about your money. It doesn't give you what you should do. It tells you why you should do this. The book introduces you to why you should think about your money differently. It is not a book on the steps to get there. Okay, so listen, I want you to know the purpose of this book. Understanding the underlying reasons why we do something is more important than actually doing it. And then we provide you the technology that gets this done. Oh my goodness. So get the book, folks. Right now, I've got on the screen right now, a $350,000 loan that we're going to get ready to talk about. I'm changing the interest rate to 7%. Okay. And we're going to get a brand new payment. So we have Norman on the stage. Norman, how are you doing, sir?
Well, good morning, Don. Hope you're doing well, Don, as well, and to the others on the stage, doing great.
All right, so tell us what you do, sir, and introduce yourself.
Sure, I'm a realtor in Georgia and Alabama. I work specifically with home buyers. These are first-time home buyers or people who are re-entering the market with questions. And so I just love educating folks because there are a lot of questions that they bring to the table.
Okay, is one of those questions, man, these interest rates are so high. Should we wait, or should we wait till they come down? Or are you hearing those kinds of questions, sir?
all the time. As a matter of fact, here where I live, we were asked to do a news story on the interest rates. And a lot of the conversations that we've had on this stage prime me for that conversation. So I appreciate that, Don.
All right, folks, here's what we're talking about. And here is what a lot of the news outlets are telling you. Go ahead, if you can afford the payment, get that mortgage now. Get in your house now. And when the rates get better, meaning when they lower the rates, then refinance into your lower rate. And what I'm trying to tell you is, if you can afford this payment, this is the better rate. I'm going to show you the difference between this rate, the 7% rate, and the 5% rate based on the information you've already learned. We're going to teach you how to make a 7% rate work for you and save you even more money. If you want to know, listen, how many people we got in here? We got 33 people in here. I got to get to 25 shares, and then I'll let the information out. Plus, I want you, if you want to know how you can make a 7% interest rate work for you, put a number 9 in the chat. Put a number 9 in the chat. And if you're online in the comments, put a number 9 in if you want to know how you can make a 7% interest rate work for you. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Mitch Davis says, cheaper access to capital, use that HELOC. Ooh, Mitch. I love it, man. Listen, we're going to get the equity cheaper, okay? We're going to get equity cheaper and then get a HELOC. Wow, to access those funds. All right. So listen, here's what we're talking about, folks. I see the number 9s in the chat. I see that. I see the number 9s online. I see we got 31 people in here, but we're still at 19 shares. Can I get to 25 shares? Go ahead down at the bottom, hit that button with the arrow coming out of it. Let's get a few more people in here so that they can see. If you're new to the room and you want to see these examples online, then go to ice10k.com and you'll see another button there that says you can watch us live. Or if you want to go straight to YouTube, you can go to ice10kvideos.com and watch us live as well. So you can be on Clubhouse and watch us live. Make sure that if you want to come to the stage, though, and talk, make sure you turn the volume down on your secondary device. So, folks, here's where here we go. We're getting ready to do our thing and understanding what we're getting ready to understand how to make a 7% interest rate work for us. Now, let's do the basics. Okay, $350,000. All right, our payment is $2,473.73. Here is what you're going to see at the closing table and 3 days before you close. The bank is going to tell you that if you keep our money for 30 years, $350,000, and pay it back over 30 years, you will pay us $392,119. What? Okay, something is not quite right. Oh, I got 300 payments. Okay, hold on. 360 payments. Let me go back. Sorry, folks. I listen, I do these numbers all the time and something wasn't right. So let me go ahead and change that. We got a 30-year loan, not a 25-year loan. So let me go ahead and put a 30-year loan in. Oh, there we go. Now it looks right. Our payment is $2,328.56. We go down here to look at this. And so we got 7%. All right. Watch this. $350,000. Here's how much interest the bank wants. $488,281.60 over 30 years. Folks, does that look like 7% interest to you? Or does it look more like this, what we have over here? Total interest paid as a percentage of principal, 139.5%. 139.5%. How is this legal? How in the world is that legal? Well, it is legal. But I'm going to show you how that's going to work for you because you don't have to pay all of that interest. Watch this, watch this. All right, so now let's get into this thing. Do you see how much money is going to principal and how much money is going to interest? $286 goes to principal, $2,041.67 goes to interest. Here is the first lesson for you online and for you in Clubhouse. All right, and by the way, keep sharing the room. Keep sharing the room. Keep sharing it on the social media. Get everybody in here. Here's what you need to know. They're saying, Don, look at these huge interest rates. Look at these, interest payments. $2,000 a month just in interest while we're paying off our loan with $200 and $300 payments. Think about this, folks. Interest payments you skip don't matter. I need to let that breathe for a minute. Go ahead and write that in the chat. Interest payments you skip don't matter. Wow. Interest payments we skip don't matter. So we're going to show you how easy it is to make them skip. The next thing you want to know is control the principal payment and you control the loan. Listen, this is why we exist, so that you can take the control out of the bank's hands and you get control by understanding how an amortization schedule works. This is why we exist, so that you can control the loan, control the interest payment, and you control the loan. Miss Dawn, if you're still in the building, if you have anything to say about this, you can tap in at any time. The same goes for you, Norman. If you hear anything that helps, that you can add to the conversation because you're in real estate, Miss Dawn is in real estate. We can get another perspective on this. Tap in anytime you choose, so that we can get information from you. Okay. All right. So here's what we're talking about, folks. Interest payments you skip don't matter. Okay. And control the principal payment and you control the loan. Watch this. We have $286.89 going to principal, $2,000 going to interest. And let's say this is your January payment. So February's principal payment. February's principal payment is $288.57. Do you see that? Such tiny principal payments. But if you prepay the $288.57, meaning if you make your regular payment in January and look at February's principal payment, that would be the $288.57. If you prepay that before the next month, guess what? You eliminate line 2 for $288.57. You eliminate $2,039.99 worth of interest you never have to pay. From $288 you have sitting in a bank account making 0.1%. Folks, you are now taking your control back, because we have been controlled by the situation by being conditioned to pay loans like this out of our ignorance. Ignorance isn't a bad word. It is what's happening. Ignorance is when you don't know something. And folks, this ignorance that has been imposed on us by leaving this education out of our system. We should understand how these loans work. This is why we exist, so that we can take the control back through knowledge, so we can understand what's going on. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to save even more money, I'm showing you how to save some. You want to save even more money? Plug a computer into it. Let the computer do the math and figure out how much interest you can save per dollar applied. you don't want to pay just any amount. You want to prepay the right amount. This is what P.I.L.L method stands for. Prepayment of principal. We're going over that now. Isolating the principal amount, knowing how much to pay and when to pay. Leverage, finding the smallest amount to pay at the right time to kill the maximum amount of interest per dollar. And liquidity, how do we use all of our funds in the funds that we have cash, funds that we have on credit lines, like the HELOC, like my man was saying before. Okay, how do we use all of those funds? How do whether we believe that they are liquid or not, but how do we use all of our liquidity to manage all of this to save us money? Oh my goodness. Here we go, folks. Let's get into this a little bit more. $288.57 prepaid knocks out $2,039.99 worth of interest we never have to pay. Because the principal payments are so tiny, they're tiny because the interest rate is larger. Look at the interest payments. So the interest rates make the interest payment larger. Watch this. Remember, the interest payments you skip don't matter. Okay, let me give you an example of that. If you have a new credit card at 7% interest, and you charge $2,000 on that card this month, and you pay that card off next month at 7% interest, how much interest did you pay if you pay off the whole thing? If you pay off the whole thing next month, how much interest did you pay? Anybody? On the stage, how much interest did you pay if you pay that card off next month?
I don't have my screen up, Don.
That's okay. So what we're talking about is having I got a brand new credit card at 7% interest, and I put $2,000 on that card this month, and I paid it off completely next month. How much interest did I pay?
Zero.
What if it's 15%, Dawn?
Zero.
What if it's 25%?
Zero.
Even 100%?
Yep, zero.
So it doesn't matter how much interest they want. What matters is how much interest I pay.
You got it. And I think that's a great example, Dawn. I think if you use it, like that example is a way to help people wrap their minds around the way mortgages, like the way that the amortization schedule works.
Yeah.
And that's what I really love about it. You know, we talk often about the way I learned, which was the manual way, and then challenged it. You were like, but do you know exactly how much, to the penny? And was that the most efficient way? And so I didn't have those numbers because I did it manually, right? The process manually. But what you are able to share is the software to keep from doing what I had to do to learn how to do it.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I love this. So by increasing the interest rate, we make these interest payments larger, but we just showed if we take control of the timing that we give money back, we control how much interest we can skip. All right, now watch this. If we take our mortgage payment and make it in January, we can prepay $288.57. Let's say we take out an additional $290, add to that, and then an additional $291.94. So we're going to pay all three of these. Okay. A little. Let's see. What is that? Almost $800, $700, $800. All right. So let's say we round it off to $800. Okay. And 2, 4, 6, and almost $800, almost $800. Okay. So we prepay that. Guess what happens for about $800? It saves us over $6,000 in interest we don't have to pay. Remember, interest payments you skip don't matter.
Hey, Don.
Yes.
If I didn't have 800 and I just cut my McDonald's bill down, could I apply something less than the 800?
Ooh, yes. You can apply You can buy whatever you want. Okay. So let's just say, can I give you an example of that, Miss Dawn?
Please.
Okay. I'm going to put a calculator on the screen. Okay. I'm going to put a calculator on the screen, and we are, we're going to, I've got my calculator in hand. All right. I'm going to put $2,039.99 on the screen. Okay. There it is. That's how much interest I could save if I prepay $288.57. Okay. So Miss Dawn asked the question, what if I didn't have $288.57? So I'm going to put that in my calculator in my hand here, $288.57. So if I cut my McDonald's bill down, okay, a little bit. All right. Let's just say I don't have $288. I'm going to cut this in half. $288.57. I only have, divided that by 2, I only have $144.29 to put on here. So I have half the money. Okay, half the money. Guess what? I save half this interest. What? So I'm going to divide that by 2. I save, if I prepay $144, Dawn, I save $1,019, almost $1,020. Dawn, would it be worth it if I only had $144?
Yeah. So tell me this. So you're saying if I work with you and I just stop clicking Amazon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe once, one time less.
Mm-hmm.
And I stop using Amazon Prime. And I work with you.
Yeah.
That I could save $1,000 with my $100 and something just doing one small change.
Okay, Dawn, we're going to introduce a new word.
Okay.
The new word, well, it's 2 words. True cost. True cost of spending $144 on Amazon that you didn't need to spend. The true cost of $144.28 is on this mortgage $1,020. That's the true cost of $144.
Yes. So the package that's sitting on my kitchen table.
Yes.
If I just not click that button
that
I have not opened.
Yeah.
And work with you.
Yes.
And we move that money and you show me how to apply it.
Mm-hmm.
With the true cost of that one decision would be what again?
$1,020.
Huh.
Okay. Miss Dawn, guess what? I don't have $144. I have half that. I'm dividing it by 2. Okay. I have $72. So what about my $72 decision to spend? Okay. So I'm going to divide this by 2. My $72 that I don't have to spend, that I did spend, I could have saved $510 in interest on this loan. My $72, Dawn. Is that what you're talking about? The true cost of $72
yes,
is the $509 in extra interest I could have saved myself and my family.
Is crypto giving those kind of returns these days?
No, crypto's definitely not. For $72, I'm going to turn it into, listen, Dawn, even you said this is a guaranteed savings. It's guaranteed. And it was Benjamin Franklin that said a penny saved is a penny earned. So what about $510 saved, Dawn?
So this is the conversations that I think most people don't have because they think it's something funky. But we could teach, or you could teach crypto. You can teach all this fancy stuff that they cannot follow,
right?
With no evidence, and people will accept it as truth.
And
show them the numbers, and they're like, I don't know. It looks a little strange.
Okay.
I sure appreciate you walking through this. So and it took me a while too, guys, but I just want you to challenge your beliefs. Be open to real numbers and real results.
Okay. Miss Conyers put another in a statement in here. So she says, technically, prepaying principal eliminates interest. Not just technically, Miss Conyers. Actually, by prepaying, you make it impossible for the bank to charge you that interest. It's impossible for them to do it because that's the way they set it up. And the only way it continues to work for in their favor is that we stay ignorant to how it works. We stay ignorant of the rules. They make money. Miss Kanya says, I love this in capital letters. Have mercy. Come on, folks. For $72 prepaid, it saves me $510. But guess what, Miss Dawn? I don't have $72. Okay? I can only squeeze out of my budget that I could save. I'm going to divide this by 2. I can only just save, let's see, divided by 2, $36. $36.07. $36.07, Miss Dawn. I'm going to divide this by 2. Saves me $36 I spend. Okay? That's $6 a cup of coffee. My cup of coffee costs $6. And 5 days, let's see, 6 times 6 is 36. So 6 cups of coffee actually cost me $255, Miss Dawn. 6 cups of coffee actually cost me $255.
Yeah, that's the amazing part. What is it? Albert Einstein says compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Those who understand it earn it, and those who don't pay it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's what we're chasing. So that's my little sidebar that I always get, kicked out of rooms for, is because, this is the things that we're talking about when it's a guaranteed return. Like the stock market right now is going down.
Yep.
Right. And we know it'll return, but we don't know the actual return on investment, right? That's estimated.
Mm-hmm.
We're basing it on predictable past returns. This, that if you take the $36 and what was the change? What was the numbers again, Dawn?
$36.07.
$36.07. You will eliminate how much? What's the total cost?
$255.
Oh, Don, you got to put the knack on that and see what the return would be. I want to put that number. Next show, do that.
Okay. What I return on investment? Oh my gosh.
At $36. I wonder what that number is.
$36. Oh my goodness. This is amazing. I'm checking out the chat here. Mr. Davis says, good info, Mr. Ice. We started paying off these rentals listening to you. Next strategy is to use HELOCs potentially. Good information for the people. Thank you, Mitch Davis. All right. Kenya says, thank you for keeping it simple and easy to understand. Listen, as soon as it gets unsimple, Miss Dawn is going to come off the mic and hit me over the head and say, simplify it, boy. Make it simple. Yes, go ahead.
Hey, so I've gotten in a place where I can sit down and kind of follow with you on the screen. So here's the encouraging thing.
Yes.
Especially as interest rates are going up. As interest rates go up, the potential savings increase is amplified. So because interest rates go up, the interest costs go up. Well, if you're in control of principal, then you're able to save more on your interest by taking control of your principal payment.
That is correct. Okay, so here's another question online. Does this method work for all loan types, i.e., auto, credit cards? Most definitely. So in our system, we put it all in. We put in the student loans. We put in the mortgage. We put in the credit cards. We put in the car loans. We put in the loan that you just got to put up a new fence around your house. We put that loan in, okay? We put all of it in. And because of optimized, okay, here's the next word, optimized interest cancellation, our clients pay off all of that debt, even the mortgage, student loans, everything, in about 7 to 9 years. Wow. Ms. Dawn said that's a 600% return.
check my math, right? I'm public school. I'm a thank you laude, not a cum laude. But when I did $36 times 600%, it equaled to $216. So it's
Ooh.
600%.
Folks, listen, if you want to know more about this, my engineer is saying, listen, Don, we got to tell the people how they can get this. All right. If you want to know more about this, if you want to know the month, day, and year you can be debt free on all of your debt, the average family has about 13 different debts. We're saying pay them all off, even the mortgage, in an average of 7 to 9 years. Once you understand this, I'm just giving you the basics here. Once we plug a computer into it, the computer is going to actually analyze your monthly spending habits, take the money that's left over after paying all of your bills, and tell you how you can maximize every single penny you have left over. We're going to make all the pennies go to work. All right. So that's the same. And so Miss Camille is saying, can you please address the type of loan question? Okay. I think I did, but if I missed something, Miss Camille, the type of loan. All right. The type of loans, meaning it doesn't matter if it charges interest. You put it in here, it saves you money. If it charges interest, we put it in here, it saves money. What about those credit cards? What about those credit cards that charge 0% interest? We save those for last. If it doesn't cost you anything, why pay it off early? One more time. If it's not costing you anything, why pay off those 0% cards early? That's what we're conditioned to do. Okay? So regarding applied as sent versus scheduled, applied as sent versus scheduled, I'm not quite sure what that means. Miss Camille, are you at work? Can you come up to the stage?
Yeah, I sent her an invite, so I'm not sure she's at.
She could be at work. She could be at work. I'm not. So take the time. If you can't talk to us, give us a little bit more information. Miss Dawn, will you look out for that and help her too, so yes, I can understand what she's getting at, because I really do want to understand her question. Okay. So folks, here's what we're talking about. All right. So Miss Tanya says, my auto company says they don't have an amortization schedule because it's a simple interest loan. Are they lying to me? Miss Tanya, see, here's what's happening. The person who answers the phone is not taught on how loans work. They're not taught. So instead of telling you, I don't know, they're telling you this. Anytime you have a loan that charges interest, and if you paid it all off tomorrow, what would happen to the interest that you were supposed to pay? Ms. Conyers, would all of that interest disappear? You see, this is why we have computers that run it. Even the person who answers the phone doesn't know how their own car loan works, how their own mortgage works. When you call, I tell people this all the time. After this class, after what you've just learned today, your mortgage professional, your real estate agent, your CPA, your financial planner, none of these people have to know how a mortgage loan works, how amortization schedule works to get their license. In fact, it's left out of their education altogether. Mr. Norman, am I telling the truth today?
You are. So let me tell you. So I have an MBA, and so I've learned how an amortization schedule works, but I was never taught how an amortization schedule works for me. And so CPA, financial planner, banker, you name it, they're not being taught how to make an amortization schedule work for the consumer.
Okay. All right, folks. Listen, if you're online, the people that are talking are on Clubhouse. So if you want to download the Clubhouse app, All right. And then you can meet us on Clubhouse. In fact, why don't I just do this? I'm going to share. I'm going to hit share. All right. And copy the link. All right. Copy the link. And I'm going to put it in the chat. All right. Put it in the comments. So if you're not on Clubhouse, if you go here, all right, you can download the Clubhouse app. All right. And meet us on Clubhouse so that you can enter into the live conversation. All right. So go to Clubhouse on your phone, wherever you get your app. All right. And then download the Clubhouse app and then search for P.I.L.L Method or Don Daniel or ICE. All right. And then you will find our room and then you can join the conversation. Thank you for that. All right. So folks, here's what's happening. All right. So what else do we have in the my private chat? Go ahead.
So, to see if I can interpret what Camille is asking. She hasn't replied yet.
Yeah.
It's asking, I'm wondering if you could answer the question on whether it matters if the payment, that additional payment is, or additional prepayment of principal, that additional amount is either deducted automatically, you pay it online, or if you mail in a check, does it matter?
Okay. Let's talk about this because I can kill two birds with one stone. Somebody else asked about how you make the payment. So when you're talking about a mortgage, you have to first make the complete payment that you're contractually obligated to make. Once the complete payment is made, you can apply money to principal on a mortgage. You have to make your complete payment first, and then you can apply money to principal. So how do we apply that money to principal? You can send it in by check. You can do it online. In fact, if you do it online, a lot of the banks and mortgage companies now are adding in a line that says apply to principal only. And so if you put an amount of money, even if it's $1, even if it's 50 cents, you can put any amount on there on that line and push send, pay that extra money, and it has to go to principal because that's the line it's on. So they're making it a lot easier to make principal payments online. Okay. If you mail in the check, you first have to contact your financial institution and ask them, what are the rules to paying extra money online? And if somebody doesn't know, keep going up the line. The person that answers the phone may not necessarily be able to answer your question. Keep going until you get a manager. Keep going until somebody knows how you can make a principal payment to the loan. And I'm going to tell you this, and here's the rule, and you want to write this rule down. Never accept no from someone who is not authorized to tell you yes. Never accept no. So when people tell me no, all right, they say, well, you can't do that. I said, okay. On your little script there, are you allowed to tell me yes? They're not allowed to tell me yes. The only answer they can give that they're authorized to give is no. I said, well, get me to somebody who can tell me yes. Let me tell, no offense, but can I speak to your manager, please? Get me to somebody who can tell me yes. All right. And I can't tell you how many times that has worked. Okay. You can call the same company 3 different times in 10 minutes and get 3 different answers to a financial question. Because the people answering the phone don't know. So what you're learning here, please don't go back to your accountant. Don't go back to your financial planner. Don't go back to your CPA. Don't go back to your mortgage professional or your real estate agent and ask them if what I'm telling you is true. It is true. You see the numbers. This is how it works. This is why we exist. And the reason why other people don't know it is because it's not being taught. Folks, that's just it. So this is why we're here. Now, let's get back to this 7% interest loan, and we're going to talk about why we're going to make it work for us. Why it works is because it is 7%. Look at this. Now, somebody challenged this the other day and said, Don, if you had a loan and if you refinance and you don't refinance to 30 years, then having the lower interest rate actually works for you. Let me show you what happens when you do that. Let's just say we had this loan for 2 full years. We paid it down. Let's say we didn't do anything. We paid it down by $7,367.74 in 2 years. Do you see how much interest it cost? $48,517.70. If you're new to the room, we're watching this online on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on LinkedIn. If you want to see us live, go to ICE10K video. I'm sorry, ICE10K.com, ICE10K.com, and you'll see a button there that says watch us live. And then you can choose however you want to do it. Or you can just go to your favorite one that I just mentioned, search P.I.L.L method, and you will see our live broadcast and you can watch the numbers live. All right. And if you're at work and you can't watch anything, watch the replay on one of those 4 outlets. So in 2 years, we pay this loan down by $7,367.74, but it cost us $48,000. Okay. If you're prepaying this loan, watch what could happen. If you had the money, you could prepay $3,067.74 and knock off 24 months. That's 2 years worth of payments and save yourself over $46,000 in interest you never have to pay if you prepaid it. But what if you just did it naturally? You just paid it the way the bank said to pay it. And in 2 years, you would pay this loan down by you would be down to $342,632.26. And then now the interest rates drop to 5%. Interest rates drop to 5%. And because you have 24 payments left, okay, you're down to made 24 payments. Let's do the math. We're going to put it on the screen. You had 360 payments, 360, and you made 24 payments. So we're going to minus 24. You now have 336 payments left. Okay. The gentleman that challenged what I was saying said, well, if you stayed at 336 and you can go down to 5%, it makes it better. But most people go back to 30 years, 360. That's what puts them in trouble. So I said, well, let's keep it at 336 payments. We're going to refinance the $342 and $342,632.26. So let's highlight that, copy it, okay? All right, and we're going to duplicate the tab, watch that, and we're going to put that in. Here's how much we owe now, okay? And we're using Brett Whistle, so we have to remove that comma. That's how much we owe now, okay? And we're going to bring our calculator back up. We have 336 payments left. Okay, so we're going to put in 336 payments, 336. All right, and we're going to change the interest rate from 7, we're going to refinance to 5. Now, when you refinance, guess what? You need to pay closing costs. The average closing cost on these loans is $8,000 to $10,000. I've seen it as high as $17,000 to refinance. Let's just say we didn't have to pay a dime to refinance. Got it for free. Refinance for free. Got it down to 5% interest rate. And look at our new payment. Watch our new payment here. Okay. And we keep it at 336 payments. Our new payment is $1,896.72. What was our old payment? Our old payment was $2,328.56. Oh, that's our old payment. But our new payment is this, $1,896.72. Why wouldn't we get the refinance? Here's why. When we're attacking this loan, I want to show you something. when we're attacking this loan, we're attacking it with these principal payments. Remember, interest payments you skip don't matter. Look at the tiny principal payments that we're attacking the loan with. And at 24 payments, here's where we are. Here's where we are now. Okay. The next payment is $329.87. So on the old one, if I prepay the $329.87, I don't have to pay the $1,998.69. I get rid of one whole payment for $329, even when I'm 2 years in. But if I refi it and go to 7% interest, down to 5% interest, watch this. I'm down to 5%. Watch what my first principal payment is. $469.09. $460. So if I make this payment and if I prepay, I got to prepay $469.09 now.
Don, that's huge.
To get rid of a payment. What are you talking about, man?
Man, it's huge because you it's basically you have to flip your brain because okay, so I'm sitting here in the background, my mind is going crazy. So
yeah,
I'm using the 7.5% that you're using or 7%.
Yeah.
And then I'm saying, hey, we just came out of a low interest rate environment.
Mhm.
Let's just say if I were to refinance at 3%, like you're saying, the amount of principal that I have to pay to eliminate interest is astronomically higher. So it works in reverse. And so it almost makes me and it puts me in a position that I want to refinance when interest rates are higher so that I can eliminate debt faster.
Well, listen, listen, let me tell you something. When I got called into the office, one of my clients had an aggressive insurance agent, and they were trying to sell them insurance that they didn't need. And I was telling them, this is why you didn't need it, because of how we are handling your payments of your debt. Okay. So they said, would you come into the office and explain it to my manager? So they were bringing me in so that they can dispel what I was saying, embarrass me, so that they could sell more insurance to my client. 1/2 hour into me explaining what I was doing, the person who was over the office, the general manager that was over the office said, how can I get your program? and the manager became a client. Okay. Okay. Now here's what the manager did. So at that time, he was getting ready to get a loan on his house. And they offered him, at the time, 3.8% interest. Because he gets bonuses, and he did the math on his own. He says, yeah, you offer me 3.8, but could I have 4.25 instead? They said, oh, so you didn't hear us. We offered you 3.8. He says, yeah, I heard you, but I want 4.25. They had to give him 4.25 because his bonuses would go further on a higher interest rate loan than the lower interest rate loan. Folks, are you hearing me today? Do you see why we exist? To tell you the truth about these loans. That's what's going on here. So now look at this. I'm going to go back here. Let's go back and show you what would happen at a lower interest rate, at a higher interest rate where the principal payments are lower. Remember, control the principal payment, you control the loan. I have a tinier principal payment, which means $3,555.36 knocks off 1 year's worth of payments. I knock off 12 payments I don't have to make. I refi the loan. Okay, I refi the loan. I start at payment number 1 at a lower interest rate. Now, when I prepay $3,500, it doesn't even knock off 7 payments because the principal payment is now higher. Folks, the people who own the bank understand this too well. The people who work at the bank don't understand it at all. Why? Because they're not trained to understand loans. They have the title banker, but what their real title is salesperson. They are taught to sell bank products. They are not taught to understand banking.
What is crypto doing that right now?
Crypto doing what?
Is crypto saving you that amount of interest? Is crypto moving that kind of money in your pocket?
Listen, I own some.
S&P 500, right?
Dawn, you need to stop. You know why?
I was just asking.
The reason why you need to stop is because I own some Bitcoin right now, and it's dropping through the floor.
Are you getting that right now? Are you saving that principal amount right now?
I have to wait for the crypto to go back up.
Or would you like a guaranteed return?
This is a guaranteed return, Dawn.
Oh.
See, if I prepay this money, I knock off 7 payments here at the lower interest rate, but at the higher interest rate, I knock off a whole year at the higher interest rate and save all that money.
Could I?
Yes.
While the markets are down.
Yeah.
Could I consider working with your program and using this? I know this is going to really step on some toes.
Come on.
Instead of maxing my 401k right now, which is $20,500, could I work with you and shift that money over to my mortgage and pay it off a little faster? Could that be my early retirement plan instead? Okay,
here's what we're talking about, Dawn. Let's
because remember, it's speculation right now. In the end, speculation. But if I know I have $20,000 over the period of 1 year, and I apply that mortgage payment, that principal amount to my mortgage payment, could I get a different guaranteed return?
Yes, you could, Dawn. But here's the thing.
Let's hear about it.
It's a very good question. But if you asked me, if you were my client and you called me up and said, Don, what should I do? You know what my answer would be?
It depends.
It depends. I don't know. We have to run the numbers. We have to do the math to see. Now, if what we would take a look at is get your financial person on the phone where you're putting your money and look at over the last 5 years, the last 10 years, the last 25 years, and get an average of what your money could make. That is a good measurement. That is something that we can sink our teeth into. What is the average return over this period of time? And then they can project how much you, within just a few dollars, how much you would make if you continue to put the money into your 401k. Now, what we could do then is once we get that information, Dawn, once we get that information, then we can plug some numbers into the program, and I'm going to show you here why this matters. You are now paying a certain amount of money for interest on your loans. With our program, I can tell you how much interest you can save, but more importantly, I can tell you how much interest you have left to pay. What? How much interest you have left to pay. So if I know how much interest you have left to pay, putting extra money on the loan, I can tell you how much more interest you can save with that money. So if I know how much extra interest you can save with that money, then we would look at, I could save X amount of dollars with this money. I could make X amount of dollars with this money. And when you know how much you can save versus how much you can make, that is the answer to your question. If you want to know which way is more beneficial to you, you've got to do the math to answer the question. Don't even listen to me if I give you an answer, but I don't give you empirical data to back it up. Don't even listen to me. Listen to no one that doesn't show you the numbers. So let's pull this over here, folks. I'm pulling this over here. And this is the program that I'm talking about. We're putting it on the screen right now in our last few minutes. I got 15 minutes left of your time. I've showed you today how you can make a higher interest rate work for you. Okay. A higher interest rate work for you. Okay. Oh, by the way, I needed to show one more example before I show you how the program works, Don. All right. One more example. Somebody said the interest rates could go to 11%. And everybody start moaning and groaning. Can I run this at 11%?
Yes, you can.
Watch what happens when you run it at 11%, folks. If you can afford this payment of $3,333.13, once they go to 11%, watch what happens to your principal payment. Oh, Lord have mercy. Look at this. $125 now. Look how much $1,500 extra dollars takes off. It takes off one whole year off your mortgage, just $1,575. But people say, well, look at these huge interest payments. Remember, interest payments you skip don't matter. So, folks, no matter what the interest rates are, you can find the silver lining in there if you understand how an amortization schedule actually works. All right, so now I wanted to show you what would happen if you had an enormous interest rate that most people would say, oh, we don't want that. But if it goes there, you can make the higher interest rates work. All right, I need you all to share this out. Even afterwards, go and find us online. Go to YouTube, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment in the comment section. When you do that, that changes the algorithm, and YouTube will send this out to more people to suggest that they watch it, especially if they're looking at financial pages. Okay? So go to, after it's all over, or even if you're on there right now, like, subscribe, follow, and comment. That's what I'm asking you to do. Like, subscribe, follow, and comment. No matter where you are, you can do any of that. And so other people can see what you see and help us to get because we're on a mission. You're here because you believe in the mission. You're here because you believe you need to know and other people need to know. Why? And I guarantee you, it's a law of the universe. Are you all ready? It's a law of the universe. If you share this information, freely you have received, freely give. If you share this information, God will give you more information. And we make it as easy as clicking a button to share it. All right. So here's what we're talking about. So Don, here, to answer your question, I have some. Let me reset this account. We got John and Rebecca Jones here, and I'm resetting the program, and we can see that John and Rebecca Jones have 3 loans here. All right, and this is an answer to the question: does it work for all kinds of loans? So here's their accounts, and we're going to go into the accounts tab. Once it loads, we'll be able to see we've got 11 minutes left. We got 11 minutes left. Go ahead. I'm up to 28 shares. Go ahead and share it a few more times, folks, and get some more people in here. Okay. So now we can see that we have an auto loan. We've got a credit card, and we've got a mortgage in here. And the mortgage is $200,000 at 6%. All right. I know already that we're going to save $179,519. We're going to be able to pay off, because we're saving $179,000, we're going to be able to pay off all of this debt in 7.7 years without sacrificing lifestyle. John and Rebecca Jones are still going on vacation. They're still having fun. They're still doing the thing because they have a fun budget. They have a fun budget written in to their program. What? Yeah. How much money they want to spend for fun? It's down here. an unitemized budget. They can spend $1,300 every month on whatever they want and still get out of debt in 7.7 years. Remember that number I was telling you about, Dawn? How much interest is remaining? They have $623 in interest remaining. If we take money from the 401k, I can't save them another $179,000, Miss Dawn. I can only save them a portion of the interest they have left. So any more money here, I can then track how much extra interest they can save by adding more money to their program. Does that make sense, Ms. Dawn?
Oh, yes. And so, I'm a proponent of early retirement.
Yes.
And so I just wanted you to be explained so people can, when they come talk to you, they can make some different decisions and see it from a different point of view.
And
if they're not maxing.
Okay.
Right.
And I'm so glad that you brought that up, Dawn. And the reason why is this. Somebody is going to hear us talk for about 10 minutes, go to their job, stop their 401k, and start putting it on their mortgage because they think that's what I said. Doggone it. I did not say that.
We have to come back to that because they'll take this attempt to do it because you do such a great job of explaining a complex situation or application, and they'll take it and try to do something and make a whole mess.
Exactly. Miss Coffee Brown, I see you in here. How are you doing this morning? She may be at work already. Doggone it.
I am incredible, Don. I put the phone in another place. I had to run over to the phone to go get the phone. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'll have you know that two ladies actually wanted a book. So
awesome.
I took your one gift, all right, and I split it up between them two, and I sent out 2 books yesterday.
Okay.
And let me get the names. So hold on. And let's see here. Lisa Martinez gets a book. All right. And the other person who gets a book, her name is Chanel. So Chanel and Lisa got a book. I sent it out yesterday. I even sent them their tracking a number so they can tell when the book arrives. Thank you so much for your generous gift, Coffee Brown. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Who I am is a child of God. What I do is whatever it takes, Don, to make things happen. So who I am is a child of God. What I do is whatever it takes to make it happen. Right now, I'm excited because we are publishing some phenomenal thought leaders like yourself who understand the importance of having a published work. I tell people all the time that if you don't have a published work, you're doing the generations behind you and in front of you a disservice. So if you're open, interested, and you understand that that is one of the 10 ways to create generational wealth, send me a message on Instagram to inquire more. Now, I'm telling you, I am not free and I'm definitely not cheap, but I am one of those individuals that produces stellar content and also stellar publications. We've had some authors sell upwards of close to 10,000 books. So we know what we're doing. If you want to get it done, then you need to reach out to us. If you want to do it however else you want to do it, then don't. I am Miss Coffee Brown, and I am excited. I am a certified master life coach, and it is never a time where you can have a great conversation without a good cup of coffee. Don, I yield my mic back to you.
Thank you so much, Coffee Brown. Listen, folks, did you hear what she said? She's not free, and she's definitely not cheap. But let me go one more step. For her services, there's no cost to you. What does that mean? She's not free, she's not cheap, but there's no cost to you. If what she does puts you in a position to sell more books, then whatever she was paid, you're going to get back when you sell those books. You wouldn't have sold them without it. So same with
Period.
For me, people they're always asking me, Don, what does it cost for your service? $0. it costs the bank in interest saved. You're going to save this interest. These folks they're going to save $179,519 in interest they won't have to pay. So the money that pays me is interest they would have paid the bank, but they get to keep $179,000. What does it matter what I get paid? The bank, you're giving me the bank's money that you would have paid if you hadn't met me. The cost to you is nothing. It's the cost to the bank and the interest they won't receive. Oh, that's what's up.
Hey, Dawn, that reminds me of this quote that says, it costs you nothing to dream and everything not to. So it costs them nothing to learn the method and everything not to.
Exactly. You need to look at the cost of not getting in this program. $179,000 you didn't have to pay. Whoo, Miss Credit Goddess, we've got 4 minutes left. Would you please introduce yourself to the people and tell them what you do? Thank you for coming to the stage.
You're welcome, Don. I'm sorry, I woke up late this morning. Oh, I was up late working. Hey, everyone. Happy Friday. My name is Rosalora Lewis. I'm also known as Credit Goddess. I'm all things credit and the official credit expert for the P.I.L.L Method crew here. I'm a credit score improvement strategist. And I say improvement because I not only repair, but I also help my clients through education optimize and improve their credit score so that way they are in the best position to get approved and never denied. I'm also a business credit consultant. So I consult with startup businesses, veterans, real estate investors, anyone in business. I help you establish credit so that way you're in a position to separate yourself personally into corporate credit. And I'm also a NAV loan broker. I say I'm all things credit. Lenders love working with me because I understand how to read a credit profile and also how to improve credit. It goes hand in hand, especially for those that, like you said, Don, they don't know how to read an amortization schedule. You'll be surprised. A lot of them don't understand how credit scores are calculated. So that's what I help them with. If any of you guys are interested in my service, the number is in my bio. And for those that are on the social media platform out there, the number is 888-557-5778. You send your name and email address there, and let's get started. Thank you, Don, and Coffee, and Norman, and everybody in the audience. Hey.
All right, folks, listen, I got a couple of minutes left, and I got some questions to handle here. Somebody will see if there's any questions in the chat, but I'm looking at these online. Good morning. Is it better to have a higher interest rate? Okay. The true answer is you need the right interest rate for you. And working with us, we will help you to determine what the right interest rate is. What we were talking about today is those financial experts that are saying, get the higher interest rate now, because that's what they are. And in the future, when interest rates fall, refinance to the better, lower interest rate. Don't you believe it? Okay, that's what we're talking about. So we're not just saying get any higher interest rate. We need to know what the interest rate needs to be for you specifically. Okay. And Judith said this should be watched a few times. It says, okay, let's see. The Real Deal. Same here. This is empowering, eye-opening. This is great information from Marla. In the process of purchasing home in the next couple of months, and these rising interest rates have been a concern. Now they don't have to be, Miss Marla. So thank you. Get with us at pillmethod.com or ice10k.com. Contact us. We'll help you to set up the loan for your new mortgage. Let me see here. You can reach out to us, team here. Yes. Love God says, I would like to see I would like to see mine if you have time. Listen, we can do that. Come back on Sunday. We're going to take a look at some more of this. You'll need a loan amortization, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so, yep, just bought a home 2 years ago, my current interest rate. So listen, folks, don't take what we're saying and make changes on your own. When you see something, you know, what they say is, I learned just enough to be dangerous. And you know what they say about when you see something dangerous on TV? what do they say? Don't try this at home. Okay? Don't do it on your own. Go to ice10k.com and get your savings and earnings report. Okay? Go to ice10k.com and click that button that says get a savings and earnings report. And I will see you back here on Sunday, everybody. We're going to get our last word, from E.T., the hip hop preacher. And after he's done, I'm going to come right back here on Clubhouse. Okay, let's play it. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, and our team created the most powerful money management, wealth building, debt elimination system ever created. At our recent seminar in Nashville, Tennessee, the keynote speech was delivered by the #1 motivational speaker in the world, Dr. Eric Thomas. E.T., as he's also known, mentioned he paid off his mortgage in 4 years using the P.I.L.L Method. I invite you to watch and listen.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
Did you hear that? No mortgage, no stress. If you would like to become debt and mortgage free within an average of 7 to 9 years by cutting your interest costs by up to 75%, go to PILLmethod.com and request a savings and earnings report today.